Howdy folks, thanks for joining me today. About a year ago I did an initial impressions video on Dragonfire Tinderbox's Extreme Tinder Pouch. Guys, hang with me if you want to see if my initial impressions or initial conclusions match up with about a year of experience. Well folks, thanks again very much for joining me today. I do appreciate your time. Like I said, we are talking about Dragonfire Tinderbox's Extreme Pouch. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of stuff to talk about in this pouch, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right in it, and we'll get into my thoughts and impressions and actual experiences with this as I run through this and what's inside this pouch, as well as at the end of this video. So come and join me. All right folks, both of these exact same product. I just wanted to show you the consistency in the packaging. Basically the same weight, so they have good quality control as far as the packages go and as far as what you get or the amount of stuff you get. One thing I'll point out is they did take the time to put directions on the back. Go ahead and show that to you. They are safety minded. They tell you to prepare your site properly, and then it just goes through their recommended usage of this. One thing that I really am impressed with is they encourage you to find your own path. Oftentimes in various schools, YouTube video makers, stuff like that, they say there is one way, this is the proper way to do it, when in reality there's lots of ways. As long as you affect fire, you win. So I really like the fact that they encourage you to forge your own path and find the way that's best for you. Another thing I'd like to point out is I have been using their products for about a year. I've had 5 packages of this stuff, I believe. In the beginning, these were heat sealed. The Mylar bags were heat sealed at the top, which meant you had to take and rip it off. Whereas these, the newer packaging, they didn't do that. And when I asked Daryl why, it was because the answer that popped out of his mouth was because we respect nature too much. And I was like, what do you mean you respect nature too much? Well, if you think about it, guys, when you rip that off, what are you going to do with it? Toss it aside. Now, honestly, most people, you and me included, probably would think to pick that up. But they recognize that there's a possibility of some folks accidentally leaving trash out in the woods with their product. And they alleviated that by removing that seal at the top, so you don't have to rip the bag open anymore. It's resealable, has a little Ziploc slide there. And that's what it's going to look like when you first open the pouch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line out the different tenders that I can identify on this orange signal panel, show you what we get. Then we'll run through how some of these tenders light, how they can work in concert with each other, how well thought out this bag is. Well guys, I went ahead and dumped this out and separate it out as best as I could, just to kind of introduce you guys to what all is included here. All right, here we have yellow birch and lots of it. You can start, just by looking at this, there's probably enough here for probably 6 or 7 fires. Here is some white birch bark, a nice thick slab of it too. Have a piece of cattail, you have fatwood, you have some kind of conifer cone that is absolutely saturated in resin. Pine resin, spruce resin, I'm not really certain. And over here, guys, you have plenty of wood chunks. These are soft woods. This looks like white birch to me right here. Burns hot and fast. This looks like cottonwood to me. I can't be certain, but cottonwood is also another one that burns hot and fast. Back here, I believe this looks like applewood. I'm not exactly certain on these. Osage orange. I know he uses ironwood, applewood. He's used some pear. He uses what he can harvest in nature himself. Over here, guys, we have a mix of sawdust, white birch slivers, or white birch bark slivers, pine needles, more sawdust, little bits and pieces of just hardwoods here. Now, what's great about this is that this includes all stages of fire. You have your flash material, you have your birch bark for initial tinder, which also has the resins in there and helps get the fire going. You also have resinous fatwood here if you need help to get it going. You have the chaga, which is a great ember. It creates a great ember from a spark, ferro rod, match, something like that. And then as you progress through here, you have all your stages of tinder. You move over here to your pine needles for a little bit longer of a burn. And then you get into these wood chunks. That creates the basis of your fuel, and then you'll add what you have harvested yourself on top of that. This is designed to actually get the fire started, get a base of the fire going as in a longer burning fuel or a coal base, and then add to it what you have harvested out in nature yourself. So this is just setting a foundation, or a good foundation, for a fire. Now that doesn't mean that's how you have to use it, guys. You can use a little bit of birch bark, you can use a little handful of this sawdust and pine needle mix, which would start a fire just fine by itself. You can shave down the fat wood and start a fire with that directly. It's all in how you want to use it, guys. Well, there is the contents of the average extreme tinder pouch. The contents do vary from package to package. It depends on what Daryl can harvest, what he finds out in nature. But this is the average contents. Back when I first did my initial impressions video of this product, I hit up the angle of one of the secondary designs of these pouches is to be able to boil a quart of water using the entire pouch. And it excelled at that. I actually ended up having enough heat from that fire to boil 2 quarts of water. But let's go ahead and get into lighting these individual tinders and kind of see how they work in concert with each other, and then have some final thoughts. One thing they do include with each package is a packet of matches. So not only is this a fuel-free fire, you also have a way to light it. All right, let's try some of the yellow birch bark. I did go ahead and add a little bit of a cattail fluff in there with it just for grins. And I have to say, out of all natural accelerants out there, I believe yellow birch is probably my favorite. It has a nice long burn time, has a strong flame. As you can see, it's getting off that black smoke from the resins in there. And with just that little amount, it's easily enough to start a fire. At this point, you just start adding whatever kindling you harvested out in nature. Well, that burns down. Let's go ahead and break out some of this white birch. Let's try out these matches. Angle that up. So the fire can grow up the bark. You have a nice long burn time on that one as well. And this is something you guys are probably all really familiar with. It's fat wood. Just creating a little bit of Maya dust. Guys, and here we have some of that mix of pine needles, sawdust. There's this looks like Osage splinters or slivers in there. There's some pine cone leaves or whatever you'd want to call them. Add a little bit more of this. Now this is the stuff that you'd want to add to after you light your birch bark or your fat wood. You'd want to add this to it, but you can also use it to get your fire started. You're going to take not quite. It is a little bit more difficult. But you can do it. Now that we've lit most of these on fire, how do we use these in concert with each other? Well, let's take some of this yellow birch bark, get it kind of crumbly, lay it down, get yourself a tinder brace there, and today we're just going to use what's in the package. To burn there, you can put some Maya dust on top of your yellow birch bark. It's honestly not necessary, but just get creative, guys, in how you use these in concert with each other. This is one way how it's very valuable as a teaching tool and teaching folks how to use tinders in concert with each other to make for a more effective burn. Go ahead and get that lit. That get established. You start adding some of that pine needle sawdust mix. You got these wood chunks that you can add to it. And these are hardwoods. I believe this is Osage orange or ironwood. And then as it progresses, you can start adding the larger fuel that is provided in the package. As well, as you can see, we do have a pretty effective fire going on here. It is small, yes, but it is self-sustaining. That fire will last at least for another 4 or 5 minutes. So with judicious use of what's inside that pouch, you can start several fires. Well, folks, as I so often like to say, the proof is in the pudding on this product. As you can see, as we ran through this, there's a lot of diversity in each individual pouch. There's a lot of different options for you as far as starting a fire, maintaining your fire, and actually providing extended fuel into the fire. There's a lot of potential in these products as far as wet weather fire, whether it's windy, dry. In my opinion, this pouch is a great option for those who can't go out and harvest their own tinder. But also above and beyond that, guys, in my opinion, these pouches are a great teaching tool. One of the main things about bushcraft, or one of the main focuses in my opinion, even beyond skills and techniques, is know your resources. And in knowing your resources, you know what you need to do to affect fire or any aspect of bushcraft. Knowing your resources is the foundation of anything you do in bushcraft. So that being said, how this is a great teaching tool is that even for me, who I have pine pitch, fat wood, and a lot of great resources around me, there's a lot of resources in these bags that aren't available to me in my area. But in that, a lot of nature's resources react very similarly to each other. They share many similar characteristics. So in using this to learn the tinders inside this pouch, you are effectively teaching yourself, or whoever you're using it to teach to, what characteristics to find, how they react to fire, how they react to different heat sources, ferro rod, Bic lighter, even doing bow drill, or flint, steel, and char cloth, that sort of thing. You're learning how these known good fire resources in nature work. And so when you see something similar, you may have a good idea of how that resource, even if it's unknown to you, is going to react and how you're going to try to use it to create fire. Now again, as far as what's in these bags, as far as a teaching tool goes, I have used one of these bags in a class that I gave to about 12 to 14 4-Hers, ages ranging from about 6 years old to probably 15, 16 years old. Now each one of those kids, as part of that class, started their own fire with a ferro rod with products from one of these bags. And guys, at the end of that class, I still had probably about half that bag left over. So the point being, you get lots of bang for your buck. Whether you choose to use this to teach it to kids, or to your friends, or to just students that you have in any class you're going to give, or whether you just choose it to use it as a fire starting tool for yourself, there's lots of bang for your buck in these pouches. At the time of this filming, I believe these pouches are about $12.50. Don't hold me to that, and prices do change over time. So guys, what I will do is I'll put a link in the description of this video so you can go check out exactly what the price is today at whatever time you're viewing this video, and you can check out what other Dragonfire Tinder products interest you. Guys, thank you very much for being here today. As always, I've had a lot of fun showing this off to you. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. And guys, if you enjoy fire making videos, fire making skills, camp cooking, knife reviews, that sort of stuff, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate that. And as always, please hit up the comment section. Let me know what you think. Start a discussion, ask questions. Let's just talk about it, guys. Let's start a conversation together. Anyway, again, thank you very much for being here today. And folks, I will see you next time.